Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Sunday, April 30th, 2023. Globex is open, and as I kind of anticipated, not much really going on. We were up a little bit, we're down a little bit, we're down a little bit, we're still sitting around, and I pretty much feel that we're likely going to hang out down here probably all the way through the Globex session until we're back to our regular trading session tomorrow morning. Now, of note, we are reading in the news that JP Morgan and PNC Financial have placed bids for First Republic Bank. We have no idea. I've not read anything about any reaction to those bids, what those bids entail, or how much, et cetera, but I believe that that's kind of what the market is hanging its hat on, that they want a little bit more information now that First Republic actually did, I guess, officially collapse and now are in FTC, but they're waiting for the bids before they actually have to step in and take it over or to put it into receivership. If they can just sell it off, then I maybe there's something else. I'm not sure, but I do believe that's kind of what's hanging everything on. Also, of note is that the Asian markets are now open, but the European markets are closed for holiday on Monday, and it is Socialist Day, I believe, something in that nature. And so the European markets are closed. So I would imagine that we remain pretty slow. So when their expected open comes up, that's not going to happen. And so we may just stay in this area. So there's nothing really to be adding starting here in the NASDAQ. If you followed on my big picture update, it was a fantastic, it was an incredible week in terms of just the moves that we saw. And there was a big question mark in a lot of people's minds of this thing got down to here, and how was it going to get back and get up there? And I was saying you could do it by Friday. Well, sure as enough, by Friday, it was getting up in there into the close on Friday. Now, next case in point would be that we'd be looking for it to get above wave 3, which is 13,350. Well, we've gotten up to 13,002. Wait a minute. Hold on. I go back down. 13,350. Well, we've gotten above here. We've gotten up to 13,336. That was on Friday. So we came within 14 points. That's nothing for the NASDAQ. That's a sneeze in the NASDAQ is at putting in new highs above wave 3. That's one of the things that we're looking for. But I'm going to just back out just real quick, and let's take a look. Now we're going to stay on the inside, and we're going to look at what this wave 5 can look like. The first thing we're going to do is I will back out, and I'll put in, again, just rebuilding for wave 5. And in that case, we're going to look at the entire C wave. So, right, we're in that in primary wave B, but within it, we're in intermediate wave C. So we still have resistance at 13,440, and then 13,630 would be our next fib level. Now I'm going to drop it back down to that hourly. Let's work out some intra levels here, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in minute 5 of minor 5. So we're pretty dang close to this being complete. So if I'm going to take some readings, let's go take a look at wave 1. So wave 1, we realized the high of wave 1 was 12,992. And then we're going to subtract the low of wave 1, or the starting point, and that was 12,800. So we have 192 points. And now we're going to take that low of 13,169, and we have 13,361. That puts us to that new high, and that's also where wave 5 would be equal to wave 1. That, under Elliott, on his guidelines, is the most common. Wave 5 equals wave 1. That's 13,361. Now, I've also put together some more common Fibonacci relationships. And a lot of those are, so the first one I do is 5 equals 1. So then we have that one at 13,361. And then we have where I have put relationships together for wave 5 to wave 3. And these are what I have found over my years of doing Elliott. And then in more recent markets, and that relationship between 5 and 3. Now we know that 1, 3, and 5 are the impulse waves within an impulse move. We also know that wave 3 is most often the longest and the strongest wave out of 1, 3, and 5. And we also know that the rule is that out of waves 1, 3, and 5, wave 3 cannot be the shortest. Does not necessarily have to be the longest, but it cannot be the shortest. Well, that leaves a lot open for wave 5, because right now wave 1 would be the shortest. Is we're looking for this to at least get above 13,361, where wave 5 would equal wave 1. So again, my comparison to wave 3, we have 13,348, which is just below the levels that we need to get above to put in that new high above wave 3. But the next one up, 13,403, would fit that bill. In between there, 5 equals 1 at 13,360. So that's not so far away. That we can do pretty easily. But if we were to keep going, the next relationship I have found that comes in is that wave 5 is equal to 0.618 of wave 3. That puts us up to 13,459. That definitely fits the bill. But when I come down inside of this wave, I'm going to take that off. I think I have 1, 2, 3. This is a little 4. And we have just a 5th wave coming up. And even if I go into here, I'm looking at 168. Yeah, I'm going to put it there, 168 to 2, 13,243, then 13,168. That's 75 points. If I had to go to today's low, and I put 75, it's going to be 13,379. So we got 361 to 379. We've just built where we can think this might come in. So you can mark that on your charts. 361 to 379. That's going to be a zone. On top of that, we have 13,343, and then we start to break, and the larger C wave at 13,440. All are possible. So we have a little bit more upside in all of our moving averages on the 1-hour chart. You can see they're all in alignment to continue to go higher. Over in the S&P, pretty much same story. S&P, we were looking for, here's wave 3 right there. And that is for 4,198. And again, I'm going to push this out to the 4-hour, the 4-hour chart. And what we kind of be looking for is wave C to possibly go above wave A. Now, that's the one that sits at 42.49, right? So that's the one we have 42.50. Now, here's a little bit different of a situation because we have wave 1, and I'll go with the extremes. So that high is, well, let me just see. Let me go right there. There we go. Is 4,073. Actually, I'm going to use 4,074. I'm going to give it the quarter of a point. And then we go to the low, which was 38.39. 38.39. So we got 235. That's even a little bit more than what I had before. I had 204. We'll figure that out. But we'll go with the 235. And we're going to add that to 40.68. Let me make sure. Hold on. Let me get this exact. That low. Yep, 40.68.75 plus 40.68.75. And it takes to 43.03. So the S&P actually can go a lot further. But if we're counting it correctly, and this is we're within the 5 of 5, well, maybe not. So we basically above 41.98, and wave 5 would have taken out the high of wave 3. So it could start to finish up right there, keeping with my 4-hour chart. We're going to look at what we possibly can look at here in terms of wave 5 in comparison. So we already have that higher 4,300. Basically, we have 43.32 is where 5 would equal wave 3, 43.30. Well, we're looking at 43.03. We're looking up here where wave 5 would be equal to wave 1. So we get a lot more rally potential in the S&P versus the NASDAQ. Kind of an interesting dynamic there, because what we have as well, we have 41.99, 42.30, 42.52, 42.74. So again, we're looking at these lows, 39.28. Was that correct? Let me just double check. No, 38.39. And the high is 40.73. So 40.73 minus 38.39, 234. 5 equals 1. Or anywhere in between, to be honest with you, because it goes by what we see in the structure. So I know we need to get above there. Let's let wave 5 create a new high there, and then possibly go and do a little turn to 42.50 to put a new high in above that A. Let wave C, intermediate wave C, put in a new high above intermediate wave A, and complete this whole thing in true Elliott fashion. So we've got our numbers. We're still looking for a little bit more upside. But now that they're starting to get up and they're creating new highs for the sequences, things can begin to fail. Not necessarily looking for it before we get the Fed numbers and before, we get additional data coming out next week. So what I can do is tomorrow, Monday, May 1st, we have at 9:45 Eastern, the S&P U.S. manufacturing PMI. At 10 a.m., we have the ISM manufacturing. Both can be market movers. We can get things rocking and rolling right then and there. We also have construction spending. So Wednesday, we have Federal Reserve. We have the interest rate statement, et cetera, et cetera. In between, we get U.S. job openings, factory orders, ADP employment, S&P U.S. services PMI, ISM services. So we get the manufacturing PMI, and then we get the services PMI, we get the ISM manufacturing, and then we get the ISM services, Mondays and Wednesday. So we do have some numbers that really could put a jolt or give a boost or not. But I'm going to continue to look for upside. Downside, it needs to break fast, and it needs to just cut loose. That would be the clue. Normal pullbacks, we would have to expect. But any serious turnaround, for right now, I think the market really needs to hold above 41.68 down to 41.58. That's where I think we need to hold, or we start breaking down the structure. That's where I'm going to end it for right now. Our next update will be on Monday, May 1st.